Hello everyone, it's one of those days where I don't necessarily have much to talk about, but I'll try my best to keep myself concise in what I wanted to say. So for the deals on the daily deals, pretty much the only game I've played is Crysis 2, which for $9, it's a good game, but it was really simplified from Crysis 1. I think Crysis 3 is actually a much better game. If you see Crysis 3 on sale, I would much rather recommend that than Crysis 2. At the same time, Crysis 2, it's very visceral. They really enhanced the way you kind of feel your character playing through the world. The mechanics are really simplified, like the controls and the suit powers. It's simplified in a way that it makes it feel dumbed down, necessarily just streamlined. I think Crysis 3 streamlined the suit system much better. But Crysis 2, it looks great. It's definitely a system killer if you're one of those people that believes in that kind of thing. So it might be worth it if you enjoyed Crysis 3 perhaps. But know that Crysis 2 is probably one of the weaker titles in the series. For $9, 70% off, I think it's kind of an okay buy. But if I would say go with Crysis 2 for $9 if you pretty much have nothing else to buy. Not that it's a waste of money, it's just that it's not as amazing as Crysis 1, I would say. Next up would be probably Alan Wake. 90% off, $3, buy it. Alan Wake is a third-person, over-the-shoulder, kind of horror, nighttime, survival kind of game. It's no Silent Hill by any means in terms of survival. I just mean that you're not really that powerful. You don't have like an arsenal of weapons, so you usually use your flashlight to take down these kind of night enemies or night demons kind of. It's an interesting mechanic actually in the way that the flashlight kind of works as a weapon, but don't think that you're some sort of super soldier at night. That's all really I can explain. I can link to a pretty good Let's Play of the game from Hamster that I really enjoyed watching if you want to see some of the gameplay. Now, there is kind of a expansion DLC somewhat for Alan Wake, and it's called American Nightmare. It's actually on sale for $1.49. I think both games, $3 and then $1.49. Absolute great bargain for a great game franchise. See, there's actually this deal here for $4 to get American Nightmare, Alan Wake, and Alan Wake Collector's Edition extras, which I assume is some extra stills or something like that. I think it's worth it. Personally, for this game, absolutely outstanding discount for a great title. Next up for the flash sales, I would say Amnesia: The Dark Descent. If you have not played through this game, you are missing a whole lot of pants shitting. It is, it's referred to as one of the scariest games, just due to the way they, I use this word a lot, they make everything feel visceral. I believe I'm using that word right. And as you're being scared in the game, your character starts gritting his teeth, his vision starts to blur, it starts to warp like he's in sort of a nightmare, like the fear is overcoming him. And fear is an emotion, so it's difficult to explain that through visuals, but I think the developers did a fantastic job on Amnesia. I played through it relatively quickly in about 6 hours or something, but you can do it much quicker if you aren't scared. A lot of the time you're going to be spending in the game is probably waiting around for enemies to go by so you can go by. There's no way to kill really an enemy. All you're really doing is avoiding enemies and trying to work your way through the levels. So it's not a combat game. It's a game of strategy and survival and timing is probably the best way I can describe it. $4, absolutely buy it. No doubt about it. Everyone should experience it. And it's not as scary as people say. For the community's choice, I don't know when this video is going to go up. I'm actually recording it way earlier than my other ones. Skyrim Legendary Edition, 40% off. So this includes every DLC for Skyrim, which really wasn't that much. You had Hearthfire, Dragonborn, Dawnguard, and I guess it was. I was thinking there was another DLC. So Skyrim Legendary Edition, it's basically just the pack they released a few months ago. As it's kind of the collector's edition or the bestsellers collection, where it includes all the DLC for the game. It's kind of like Fallout New Vegas has the Ultimate Edition. $35, you get it feels kind of weird reviewing Skyrim. It's a fantastic title. Many people think it was simplified or dumbed down compared to the previous games. At the same time, there's also a counter argument that it's just streamlined. They took care of They take care of some of the things that felt really bland in the previous games and tried to make them more useful. Skyrim, it's a wonderful game. The main campaign isn't all that amazing. I think Oblivion was a much better story. Then again, Oblivion had different writers. But Skyrim has wonderful vistas, pretty rewarding gameplay, and a soundtrack that, is just as good as Oblivion's. So I think it's worth it getting the DLC with it in the Legendary Edition if you do not own any of them. But I believe the DLC is also on sale if you already have the base game. Now, just quickly wrap up what I talked about yesterday but never bothered to make the video. Killing Floor, again, it's one of those games that I'm surprised everyone doesn't have a copy. Killing Floor, $4, is a up to six person co-op horror shooter survival title where you work with waves of enemies coming in, and you have loads of different types of enemies depending on the map. You also have this crazy doctor boss monstrosity that is extremely hard to beat, but the game scales up the difficulty depending on the amount of players. So if you're on your own, it's significantly easier per unit than it is with 6 people. So if you want some fun, 6 people is obviously a good way to go. At the same time, with a couple people, it's just fine. It's up to 6 people. There is loads of, I believe it's also on the workshop, so you have mods for it. You can make maps for it. There's also modded servers where you can play up to like 50 or 60 people. It's a lot of fun, and there's even character upgrades as you progress through the maps. Next up, Terraria. Buy it. $2.50. It's a wonderful atmosphere. The gameplay is fantastic. It's extremely addicting. The music is great. The artwork is really consistent and beautiful. It came out right around Minecraft, actually, but at the same time, it's a completely different experience. There is mining and crafting, but on a completely different level. It's wonderful fun with a group of friends. Dishonored feels like a classic PC title. It's shooting and also kind of this superpower magic mechanic as well. You can play it lethal or non-lethal. There's many more ways to play it lethal than non-lethal, but the story is pretty good, but the gameplay really is fun, and it's a game that you'll probably replay many times. There's lots of replay value in seeing how the game changes depending on how you play it. And that's probably all I can say. I think Max Payne 3 is a good deal. I've not played through yet. I own it. I bought it on Green Man Gaming for a pretty good deal. But I can't necessarily give you a mini review of that. That's all I have for you. I try my best to be a little bit shorter and earlier in the day. Anyways, that's all for now, and I will talk to you later.